you just can't pay for it. It just hits different. Don't sleep on that. Quite literally lies to myself. And I want to be clear here. Okay, so why does this matter? And my goodness, when I tell you that simple example literally freed me. Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Michelle. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another video here on Chats with Michelle. Okay, so I haven't said that in a super long time. And to be quite frank, this YouTube journey has been a struggle for many years. And I've wanted to quit. I've tried to quit so many different times already. However, this is just the one thing that the Lord has quite literally just won't let me let go. And trust me, I've tried. I've tried to quit so many times. And this is just the one thing that the Lord is just like, you need to get back to. And then that just brings me into the topic of today's video. I got super convicted recently, like super convicted. And essentially that conviction was me realizing the things that I had been rehearsing to myself. I didn't realize that I started to tell myself that I didn't matter. So here's the situation. About a few months ago, if I'm being honest, probably the majority of this year, what was happening was I'd find myself in situations where I could offer value or input, and then I would have these thoughts in my brain and pretty much telling myself, shutting myself up essentially, and just being like, no, like it's fine, like don't share it because it's not like it's going to do anything. It's not like it matters. It's not like it's going to be value. It's not going to make a difference. Like your input doesn't matter. And for months, I began rehearsing these defeating lies to myself, quite literally lies to myself. I just began rehearsing it over and over and over again until I actually believed it. I believed that I did not matter, that I was not adding any value, until I quite literally had a aha moment, like literally an epiphany. Like it's like I snapped out of a trance. Literally, I remember it like it was yesterday. It was a few months ago, and similar situation where I was wanting to give my input and I had this defeating thought in my brain. This thought that was saying like, what's the point? Like, what's the point of you saying anything? It's not like it's going to add any value. And I remember in that moment, I said that to myself. And then the next second I was like, Michelle, what are you saying to yourself? Do you realize you are saying these things? So when the Lord quite literally snapped me out of the trance that I was in, I realized that that was so kind of him to do. And here's why. So as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, this YouTube journey has been a journey, to say the least. Like it's been a struggle, and I quite literally would start and then stop. I'd feel discouraged and just like the whole nine. But like, I feel like the fact that the Lord would still put it on my heart and he still chose me, he decided to remind me of who I am and said, no, like I still want you to do it. I still want you to do this. And I felt like that was just so kind, because I'm like, Lord, like he didn't have to tell me to still do this, right? Like I've been consistent, very consistent in some seasons, but I've also been inconsistent. I've been very obedient and I've also been disobedient. So the fact that he would be so kind to say, no, Michelle, like I'm still calling you to this. And because listen, he could have chose somebody else. Like quite literally, he could have chose somebody else, but he didn't. And the fact that he still chose me and saw me fit to do this, I feel like that was just so kind of the Lord. And not only that, but also just to tell me, hey, Michelle, the things that you are thinking is not of me. It's not right. I need you to think about what you're thinking about. And that brings me to this like example that I heard from, I believe her name is pronounced Stephanie Ike. Basically, about a few months ago, I saw her on a podcast and she gave this example, and my goodness, it was like mind blowing to me. And essentially what she said was, there's a difference between fact and truth. So the fact may be that you're in a situation, like for myself, right? The fact may be that you may be in a situation where you do feel that you're not valuable, or you don't add any, value to a space, or you're not going to make a difference, or whatever that thing might be for you, right? Whatever that thorn is in your life, it could be true. It's like, it's not that you're going crazy. No, the fact of the matter is that might actually be what's happening. However, the truth is what God says about you. The fact it's happening, but the truth is what God says. And my goodness, when I tell you, that simple example literally freed me. It freed me so much, and I hope it does the same for you. And meditating on that very thing, that brought me to Philippians 4 verses 8 through 9. And it says the following: "Finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence, if there is anything worthy of praise, think about those things. What you have learned and received and heard and seen in me, practice these things, and the peace of God will be with you." Listen, don't sleep on God's peace. That is something that you absolutely cannot pay for. Like, you just can't pay for it. God's peace just hits different. And I'm actually going to be talking about that in an upcoming video, but it just hits different. Don't sleep on that. But we're reminded to think of the things that God says about us. Okay, so why does this matter, right? Like, what's the big deal? Why am I making this video? I'm making this video because you may be watching on the other side, and there has been a lie that you have been telling yourself. Your lie may not be the same lie that I was telling myself, but it's a lie nonetheless. And you need to defeat that lie. And how do you do that? How do you do that practically, right? Well, you do that by saying the truth, the things that God say is true about you. So how do you do that? Well, it's just knowing and meditating on God's promises. What does God say about you? And I want to be clear here. So I was dealing with this, but it doesn't mean that I've become like, I don't deal with it anymore. It's still something that I'm working through every single day. But now, because I'm aware of it, as soon as a lie hits my head, I immediately cast it down with what God says is true about me. Well, how do I know what God says is true about me? It's the promises that He said about us. He said about me, He said about you, the promises that He's made. So if you don't know where to start, or you don't know what God says about you, don't worry, I have you covered. I'm going to have some of God's promises linked in the description box below. I want you to take those things and I want you to meditate on those. Every single time a lie comes to your mind, I want you to start practicing the things that are true. Literally saying, no. Even as simple as saying, no, that's not true. Being like, nope, we're not doing that. Like, quite literally, you need to just cast those things down that are not true and speak the truth to yourself. And the truth is what God says about you. And with that being said, thanks so much for tuning in to Chats with Michelle. Listen, if you found this video valuable, please give it a like and consider sharing it with someone. And also, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel because we've got so much to chat about. Bye.